Is my throat fine? I think it is. Alright, so in the top right side we have a pink Protoss. He's from the Dragon Phoenix Gamers. He is ZEST. And the going groupies of gaming origin. They are the Good Game Gaming, Gengar, and Gulags and Ghouls. They are representing a Red Terran. He is Dream. Fixed that one up pretty well, didn't I? A little patchy-upper of an introduction, but you know what? He puts in the work, he puts in the efforts, and eventually it will be shining through. Just gotta rewrite your own sentence midway in your own head, and you'll be fine. All right, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Is anything in particular quite now happening? I don't think so. Nothing too out of the ordinary. We're seeing that reactor on the barracks. I suppose that is something we could point out, right? It's most likely going to go straight into the double marine production is what I'm guessing here. Could go for double Reaper too. I mean, he has the gas for it, but I would imagine he's going to look for a factory with that gas right here now. It's actually another bunker. All right, okay. Or a bunker, barracks. The barracks bunker. It looks like a bunker. Little SCV scout did get pulverized by the adept warp cannon. What's that called, really? Their special glove. Actually, check to see all of this. Just realized that I don't have the chat open either. Ah, we'll fix that next game. Alright, so yeah. Twilight Council there being made now by ZEST. He's gonna try to do some stuff here with the two adepts, but looks like Dream on top of things, and will not allow those two adepts to really do much of anything. Except for die and nearly die. Which is a rough thing. Robo facility also coming up, looking for the amount of gateways, right, that we're going to see afterwards. Oh, in fact, it will be the Dark Shrine. Interesting. Don't need that many gateways for that one, do you? Just need a couple extra in order to get that wall secured. Make sure those Marines will not have an easy time just running in if they ever want to, or Hellions, or that type of thing. That type of thing. Ain't no thing but a meringue. And now they're gone. So yeah, the Adept doing his job together with that shield battery. Dream realizing that there's no way in a realistic manner you're going to get yourself through there with those amount of Marines. Ain't no thing but a meringue. Ain't no thing but a marine. Just mispronouncing. Oh no, you're joking. Okay, wow. That could have been bad. How did he know? How did he know? Dream. Jeez Louise. Mamma mia. Alright, there's some DTs. 3 of them in total. I mean, the Marines are also coming across. Looking for any scan energy. Not really quite there just yet. We have 40 right now. These DTs going to burst their way through the, well, the first bunker that was trying to be built there. Wasn't quite ready yet, so it's not quite a safe location. Yeah, could just, of course, lift up these DTs here, but I suppose he's already on top of a bunch of SCVs here. Now it's sufficient for him enough. He's going to have to deal with this eventually as well, I suppose. Maybe some DTs at home should be enough to deal with this, as long as there's not that much scan energy available. As long as these DTs on the other side don't get shot down by a missile to our right, well, he taps out. Dream's gonna catch up, of course, with that mule now dropping on the floor. He's gonna grab himself a quick command center on the low ground, then a factory follow-up here, so no marine aggression this time around. As ZEST in his own base, we're gonna see his tech route pretty soon as well. See what kind of plans he is developing here. Did grab a second gas in his main. I think he's just gonna get the Twilight. That is the Twilight or the Stargate, right? But Twilight is... yeah, there we go. He loves himself some Blink Stalkers. It's truly the unit that he probably likes to play with the most, I feel. Oh, this has a good time with those. I'm just hoping that we're not going to see the the attempt at the Dark Templar once again. It might go better, to be fair, this time around. As there's not a ginormous army of bio units just coming across the map. Instead, it will be a bit slighter of an harassment style, right? The Hellions that are coming across as well, with the starports already being on the opposite side. Gonna potentially come in there before there's really any defensive setup here for ZEST. One of the Hellions that managed to escape towards the starport. He's gonna have to wait for his buddies as well. Another Hellion coming across. Adept does see this guy kind of going over towards this location. Must give him something to think about. There we go. Does get up to 4. The third base of ZEST here still being constructed. We'll be able to get a quick peek at that medevac though, as the Stark is now rotating towards the correct location. Doesn't seem like these Hellions are going to be able to do too much, unless if they do find themselves in a cheeky position here. Alright, there we go. This is starting to add up a little bit. Not a correct alignment to those probes as how they were stacked up, but you know what? 8 probes here going down in total. It's not too shabby, and that is just as that blink upgrade is completing now. So wonderfully done there by Dream, managing to hit that timing quite nicely and getting himself out on top rather properly as well. ZEST, he seems to be struggling a lot more than I thought he would. I initially expected ZEST to be the player here to really shine, right, against Dream, but apparently that's no longer an assumption that I can make. Dream just too solid now himself as well. And ZEST kind of getting caught off guard by these aggressions, right? Which is one of the strengths of Terran, that is, of course. Ooh, Siege Tank already in position. That is a rough spot to blink into. Trying to get himself out of there right now. It did manage to find a little corner. Has to be careful of another Siege Tank on the bottom floor. Just doing single target DPS right now. Kind of overstepping into the boundary of that Siege Tank once again. But in the end, he didn't lose a single Stalker. He lost the one Adept. But that's it. He did pick off quite a couple of Marinas there. A supply depot too. Not too bad, not too bad. Wouldn't be upset about that if I was ZEST. That was a pretty nice trade. Unfortunately, he didn't get any siege tanks, which is a shame. But ultimately, you know what? He managed to trade favorably, and that's what he needed to do. Now, was it enough though? I'm not entirely convinced just quite yet. With that third base of ZEST finishing up though, the economy kind of balancing back to an equilibrium here. So yeah, you know what? You gotta hand it to ZEST when you think stuff sometimes won't go as well. He still manages to micro his way into a pretty alright trade, so pretty cool. Behind this is the Storm upgrade coming, as well as the charge for the Zealots right here. While Prism looks like that got spotted by an attempted drop of Dream himself as well. We'll decide to just regularly head out. Stalkers immediately catch wind of this, so this might be the moment for that Wild Prism to try and make something happen. Still a couple of Marines there. Oh, like this. This is a smart choice of ZEST. Actually, just going towards the right side instead of over here. You will be able to warp in a couple of extra boys if that's what he wants to do. A little bit preoccupied with the Blink Stalker micro in the middle of the map, though, it seems. Gotta be careful. That Storm has been upgraded now. It is available, and those High Templar, they are looking pretty juicy on the energy. Not like that. Gonna have a lot of difficulties there. Right, some, well, somewhat minor tech structures there going down. The Cyber Core, of course, very annoying. Now you won't be able to make those Stalkers anymore. But I don't think that's the worst case for ZEST. In this situation, Zealots will be okay, especially with the High Templars there. Support. It's making a couple of Immortals. It's not the worst case, right? It's not in a situation where he absolutely needs more Stalkers or a Sentry or something like that right now. Alright, third base for Dream did manage to get secured here behind this. And looking overall at the scoreboards, which I'm not sure if you could call it a scoreboard, but the overall, well, kind of board that is trying to explain to us what is happening. And we can see that Dream actually overtook ZEST in the worker count by 1, and is still ahead in the army count as well. Only slightly, though, with a bare minimum of 9, I would say, but anywhere closer, and you might be more convinced that the Protoss army should be able to take it with the kind of better tech available. As soon as those ghosts are coming out, though, that is going to equalize that playing field, to be fair. But then it does come down to micro, of course. Will the EMPs land on the High Templar? Will the Storms just obliterate 20 Marines? Let's see. It's already a very good split here from Dream. Looks like ZEST is trying to find an entryway. It's making another Nexus behind this as well. And getting +1/+1. So he most likely will just back off here. Seeing this concave and how the Terran is set up. Just overall, it makes sense that this is not something you really want to push into. Looks like we have a requested pause as well. ZEST, he's an infamous pauser. I'm an observer. Alright, there we go.
Resumed.
You know what? ZEST wants to pause. He can unpause. Little Marine here, going on an adventure, looking for a new sense of belonging, most likely. Trying to find the spiritual essence of what it means to be alive. Maybe also trying to see whether or not that's a base being built there by the Protoss. Look at that, we have another one. His brother Bill. Oh. Reunited with the rest of the crew. Still kind of spotting for that Protoss army here, though, and ZEST trying to come in from 2 angles. Because of that one Marine there did get spotted a little bit earlier than perhaps ZEST would have liked. And now Dream is just giving a run towards this Protoss force right here. I'm not sure if he should try to engage it as ZEST is setting up near that speed zone. Those Zealots will be able to connect onto the Marines and Marauders quite quickly. A wraparound from the back as Dream tries to get himself up a ramp. This is a very nice concave from ZEST. But will it be enough? Those Marines still very high in numbers. It was a mostly Marine army instead of Marauders, which means it does rather well against Zealots. There we go, the Storms. I have to say, there we go. Finally some Storms connecting before they did not manage to get as great a success. Good EMP right there, landing on pretty much everything. Even the Observer and the High Templar there getting themselves knocked down a peg. And Dream starting to heal up. Recuperating his sources, grabbing a couple of extra ghosts right here. There's still Widow Mines waiting for ZEST to make a wrong move with his army as well. Could potentially come to hurt him, of course. And now 10 High Templar in production right there. I'm not sure. Oh, there they are. Yep, 10. Alright, don't see this every day. Counter-attack from ZEST. Well, I say counter-attack, but this might what it turn into. As the Army of Dream here, not really in a good position, will make a triple medevac drop onto the main base though. And that's where all the tech is. Now, if he does manage to kind of push this army backwards, I think this could be a pretty good spot for him. Would like to see him try and make work of killing off the Templar Archives and the Twilight Council, something like this. Trying to fight with the Stalkers here. Not entirely convinced. Okay, well, he is winning the fight, so I guess that's a good thing, right? Reinforcements now coming in, and that will be the end of this. Ooh, that medevac, yeah, that's just dead. Another army, though, for Dream is coming in, and even though ZEST, he killed off that base on the other side, it looks like his army just never quite managed to recover from a fight in the middle, I want to say. Even though he had a marvelous engagement, the army of Dream just seems very well equipped to deal with what ZEST was doing as well. That, and we never quite saw the storms land on the majority of the army there, right? I mean, that was one of the biggest things. That army was entirely clumped up. One good storm could have absolutely won ZEST the game there. Now we're kind of in a weird spot where ZEST, yeah, he's somewhat pushing this backwards, but we're looking at the army supply overall. It's still double for Dream. Just needs to regroup a little bit, and then most likely he's going to be able to start pushing in here. And you know what? Doesn't even need to. Doesn't even need to. ZEST so far tried doing the DT opening off of 2 base, Blink Stalker opening off of the 2 base. Neither really working out so far. To be fair, he did take a lot of damage from those Hellions, and well, it really shows just the power of those Hellions at that moment in time. The Protoss just doesn't seem all that well equipped to deal with something like this, right? I suppose if you find the starports being constructed, that would be the best way to counter it, right? Just find the starports in the middle of the map before it's done. Kill the SCV, and then it's just like, it's going to be so much later. That blink is going to be done as it comes in. You're going to have maybe another round of units ready to just fight and kill these Hellions. But yeah, other than that, it can be a difficult thing. Just a couple of Hellions coming in a little bit too soon. Even though he had a very good defense on the natural base, of course that medevac just picks him up, takes him into the main, and there you have it, a free buffet of probes just waiting to be gobbled up by all those Hellions right there. Still good attempted splits, of course, as well with those probes, but not enough. Not enough. Hardly ever is. Alright, it hardly ever is. As soon as those Hellions get close, probes are gonna die. Very difficult to get a proper split going. To be fair as well, it's surprisingly difficult to like line up all those Hellions in the correct spot as well. Have them all stop around the same time, so they all shoot at the same time. And then all from the same kind of perpendicular angle, so that they all hit all the same probes. Not a thing to be underestimated either. Especially considering the nature, right, of how Hellions even fall out of medevacs, because it's like bloop, bloop, bloop. So if you immediately start running with those Hellions, they're probably going to start shooting as well. You need to take a moment for them all to clump up together. Then you move. You need to wait until the last Hellion that came out and already shot actually has a shot again. And then you can go in. Why are we still watching this probe? I don't know. So yeah. Let's see if he does it well this time around again. It's a good thing we were talking about this for such a long period of time, because it's actually happening again. Or actually, it's good that it's happening again. Or a somewhat similar thing. Couple of extra Hellions actually showing up this time around. 2 more. This is shield battery right there. Shield battery in the main base also, but it looks like that is just not going to be out in time. 8 probes once again go down. Two SCVs on the other side, though, as well. As the Oracle is flattening the entire economy of Dream at the moment. So it's already a little bit better here for ZEST, I want to say. Although, so has to be careful. Those Hellions still going around looking for trouble. 12 probes. That's a bit too much in my opinion. Okay, that's going to be 13 probes. Oof. If he wanted to have more, that would have ended the game right then and there, perhaps. Well, actually, did lose all the Hellions this time around. ZEST's army supply is a little bit more up there, and it is in these Adepts. The Adepts, let's see what they're going to be up against. May haven't. Well, there's going to be that bunker there, right? That's the problem. A couple of Phoenix and an Oracle also. I mean, ZEST should be able to pick off a couple of these SCVs, right? You should be able to. Then with the shade into the main base. If that was successful, that would have been absolutely grand, but... Why didn't he lift him with the Phoenix? You know what? I must assume there must have been a good reason. And the reason I could think of is that there were only 2 left. And they don't one-shot the probes. He had the shield batteries. So maybe he was thinking, alright, I can just be conservative with this energy from here on out. I think. Maybe if they were about to get away, right, maybe then he would have lifted them again. And then I suppose we could have tested that hypothesis, but... Third base for ZEST. That is coming up together with a Dark Shrine and Blink behind that Stargate right here. Kind of floating around with the Phoenix and the Oracle right now. Probably... Surprisingly, even though he lost, what, 13 workers himself as well, still the most game, I want to say, is favored towards ZEST so far, right? Out of all the 3 games, this one is looking the sharpest for our pink Protoss. Will he be able to find his ride to victory, though? Will he be able to find the path and navigate it? And get himself some sort of a nice advantage? Or, well, at least in this game. He's not going to have an advantage just quite yet in the series, but at least he's going to be at a lesser disadvantage overall. In the series, right? In the grand scheme of things, in the best of 9 aspects. Third base for Dream as well is being made in his main base here. Most likely going to float on over towards this location. Make it a bit easier for the Terran to defend and then straight afterwards push out. Widow Mines here being constructed as well. That's the next evolutionary step of the army here for Dream. I personally like it. There have been a lot more zealot-based compositions. So what we're seeing Terrans do more and more right now is actually address that issue. And... by a couple of ways. They go for more heavy marine focused armies. Also they go for those Widow Mines, right? They add that extra little bit of splash damage. Now Widow Mine's not an entirely new thing, of course, in TVP, but still good to see them now being incorporated with the main army in particular. There's a forge coming up for Mr. ZEST as well. So looks like he will be looking for the plus weapons upgrades here. Guessing that he will be looking for a 4th base pretty soon as well. Seeing that his opponent is trying to grab a 3rd base. I would not advise towards him to try and finish off his opponent right here, right now. I mean, he could attempt it, but I don't see a real reason to. You could just contain his opponent, right? Not try to go up against a extra bunker and the Widow Mines right there. Just try to keep your opponent off of the 3 base. Wow, this is a big, drawn-out army right here. One massive column of infantry marching in a file by one. That's one of the worst ways to move your army. Has been since the dawn of war, pretty much. As that is still an interesting fight here. Wasn't thinking ZEST would be this committed, but then again, to be fair, I didn't think ZEST, half his army here, would be able to take on this portion of the Terran army either. It's still doing damage. Those Marauders just not having a real chance of getting themselves healed up here now, without much left. This is looking problematic for Dream. His 3rd base, again up in the air, again trying to get himself a little vacant spot here on the low ground. And again, ZEST going to put this up for contention. If he manages to get this lifted up even one more time, I would say that could be the end of this game right here. It's looking more and more likely ZEST may have just outgrown his opponent already at this moment in time. Pushing on forwards. Grabbing that natural now as well, and GG is called. There we are. Anyone got any plans? Is it the Twilight or the Stargate? So far, it's 2 Twilights for the 1 Stargate opening, and even with that Stargate opening, we still kind of went into the Twilight, so my money would be on the Twilight. Oh, it's not the Twilight, it's the Stargate. Okay, so yeah, equalizing stuff out, I suppose. Right, gotta mix it up a little bit here. Both of these players have been mixing it up rather well so far. Except for Dream with his Hellion attack. If he's gonna do that again, I swear this is it's gonna be something else. Yeah, it will be something else. He did have that SAV over here, but it was taking him a while to really start setting up a starport somewhere. Maybe over here he could have done it, right? I'm not so sure. Anyway, regardless, going for a different type of ploy, a different type of strategy. It's gonna involve Marines in some capacity. Gonna be Hellbats this time? Alright, I mean, Hellbat Widowmine drops. That'll be something, that would be something. Imagine that, I mean, the Hellions take in Hellbat powers, so they'll be healed by the Medevac, and those Widowmines, they stay hidden, so... Wouldn't be too bad, I suppose. I'm not sure if you're gonna have anything to actually survive if your opponent decides to come at you at any point in time. But if you are allowed to just throw that aggression across the map, that could be a very strong thing, I'd imagine. First Oracle showing up. No good doing on his mind here, just the destruction of civilian lives. They'll never get their children into that piano class. That was so expensive that they had to go to a foreign planet to mine minerals for. They'll never get that that PS22 now. Ooh, well, yeah, this is rough. This is very, very rough. Okay, Widowmine's getting in a little bit closer, but again, right, Phoenix. Oh. Oh! You open up! It's a miscalculation! Miscalculation. That is 6 probes worth of miscalculating. That should not have happened. That truly should not have happened. It's a rough spot to be in. I mean, everything going so well, you're like, well, I got this. Easy peasy, just lift them up. Wow, so good. And then just misjudging that health bar just ever so slightly. It comes down to so little sometimes, and that could mean the difference between, well, 6 probes living and 6 probes dying, so... Right, if he had 1 extra probe attack that with a mine as it was burrowing, it would have died. Would not have done anything. But, yeah, that's rough. To be fair, though, he's still ahead on the worker count overall with, well, 12 workers. So that's a fair amount. It's a good enough amount to be in a very, you know, overall kind of safe-feeling position for the Protoss. Gives you some confidence. Phoenix here, rotating around towards the main base. Missile turret just barely in the nick of time, finishing up. As ZEST once again will be heading towards the Charge Lord's High Templar type of army composition. For extra gateways, about to finish up. Single Viking here for Dream, kind of shooing away those Phoenix. Sometimes 1 Viking, all you need. Is he cancelling buildings? I don't know, I didn't see. What did he cancel? Somebody in the chat, Venser here, saying he cancelled buildings. To be fair, sometimes like I'm convinced when I see something happen in the corner of my eye on that production tab, I'm like, wow, he cancelled the robo, and then, oh no, it just finished. Doesn't seem on top of his game today. Yeah, I honestly thought that ZEST would have been the player here that would get the advantage. To be fair, like, a lot of these games so far were decided quite early on by just Hellion harassments coming in and doing too much damage, right? So now ZEST kind of adjusting his playstyle, not going as aggressively for the Blink Stalkers, but instead first kind of securing himself with this Phoenix Blade, not allowing Dream to gain the upper hand with those early aggressive kind of maneuvers with his Hellions, right? And the Widow Mines. So I don't feel like we've fully seen the extent of what ZEST can do today just quite yet. He might be in a good place overall, but just didn't get to show it because of that early game damage, right? Ooh, keeps the Oracle alive. Important stuff. But right now, that's how the game is setting up. I see him in a pretty good spot, right? He seems in a very good spot, honestly. Wouldn't mind seeing a second base coming up pretty soon. Or, I mean a 4th base, sorry. A 2nd, 3rd base, that would be. There we go, there it is. That's the 2nd, 3rd base. I mean, this Phoenix Force, it's still finding some damage here and there, right? Really on the edges, just a couple of units. But other than that, Dream has been on top of denying this Phoenix Flock to do any kind of economic harm. So hats off to him for, you know, staying on top of that movement and being able to zone them out consistently like that. To be fair, ZEST kind of keeping it around the area of the army as well in order to see whether or not it's moving out and where it's moving out towards, right? Very important information to try and gather here with those units. So, for example, right now he knows that his Terran army is moving towards the right side where he is trying to construct that base. Now, a couple of Colossi Archon here will be able to meet this army before they really get in position to threaten that Nexus. Actually, just knowing that he got figured out here, Dream already backing up quite a bit. Maybe just wanted to re-secure that watchtower. Now knows that ZEST is the one pressuring him all of a sudden. Colossi gonna swipe away at whatever they can. A very smart move, getting rid of all of those Widow Mines. No response there from Dream just quite yet. Here we go, it's the big engagement right now. Still a couple of Widow Mines connecting pretty properly against those Zealots, but there's still so much beefy high tier units behind this. And those Archons as well, ready to tank most of the damage. Stalkers ready to shoot anything from the sky, making it quite difficult for Vikings to just keep poking at those Colossi as well. This army of ZEST there could just be the deciding blow right now. Ready to take out Dream. Already took out 29 of these workers right here. Some Widowmine drops on the other side of the map. I mean, yeah, they're getting something, but that's all they're getting. GG is called. Bottom left side, pink Protoss player fighting for the Dragons, the Phoenix, and all the gamers in the world. He is ZEST. His opponent for today, the red Terran player fighting for the good gamer guys. Let me get those points for everyone. He is a Dream. We are in a 2-2 setting now, right? I'm not going crazy. We had 2 wins for Dream, and then the 1, and then... Yeah, right. I'm fairly certain. Zest's slow Zealots are as fast as everyone else's slow or fast Zealots. Yeah. I mean, he just gets them in the right place, right? He just knows where to put them. Make it seem like they're as quick as they are, but in fact it's just pre-placement. I imagine if you play against ZEST as well, it just feels like he has so many Zealots just absolutely everywhere, right? Because they just seem to be coming out of the woodworks. Big pockets of Zealots just suddenly coming in from behind. It's very, very strong, but it you know, it makes you feel like you just have Zealots everywhere. Is there just a pocket of Zealots behind every corner? No, Zest's just really good at placing those Zealots in the spot where the fight is going to be, and pre-battle positioning, a key component in the game of StarCraft 2. Doing that part in particular very well right now with those Zealots. Alright. Other side, we have, again, Dream going for the barracks build. This was what he opened up with in game number 1. The triple racks. Zest in that game went for the DTs and absolutely got stomped because he just didn't quite have combat units just quite yet. This time he'll have himself the Stargate. The Stargate does a lot better against this type of aggression than the Dark Shrine does. And as long as he doesn't needlessly lose Phoenix before an actual push over Dream, he should be okay. Can very much appreciate the thorough scouting of Dream here. Doesn't want to be caught off guard on a map like Blackburn, right? A lot of places to do some freaky stuff from. But Zest pretty much sticking to his own kind of area on the map. This is the first bit of aggression really coming across. It's going to be that Oracle. It's going to find a bunch of barracks here, mainly producing Marines, Stimpack and Combat Shield. And he's going to know what kind of army composition he's going to be facing up against. You only saw one of the barracks though, to be fair. Could that still be something else? I suppose you could do a 2 Rex kind of thing, right? Those, I don't think they're as common as the triple Rex. Still a bit too much of everything, right? Tacking up, getting a lot of bases, and then trying to have extra army. All at the same time. This is a lot more just straightforward, right? You're gonna have your army, you're gonna have your economy, you're gonna start slacking a little bit on attack, and that's it. You're gonna grab that attack later on. I'm gonna stay alive, maybe even do some horrific damage to your opponents here with this push. Well, looks like it might be difficult to really get a lot of damage dealt here with that amount of shield batteries. But those Marines with the stim pack, if they just stim in and target fire something down, they'll be able to kill it. But how many will they be able to kill before their numbers dwindle too much that they won't be able to target stuff down anymore over the power of the shield battery? It's starting to get close. A couple of the oracles here coming in as well from the backside, not quite finding something. When he was trying to set up a missile turret on the top side, perhaps expecting the oracle to come help out with the defense here. Didn't quite happen that way, of course. So we're just kind of moving on from this position. That marine push really wasn't right. It's not incredibly crucial. It does a lot of damage. Just kind of wants to trade, and it wants to trade reasonably okay. Getting 3 of those sentries right there is a pretty good move. It's going to have to replenish those if he wants to be safe against this early big bio ball here. Those force fields will be very important indeed. So overall, the higher tier attack units getting delayed a little bit in favor for that added in security of knowing that this army is going to do a bit better against what Dream is assembling here. Rather than kind of having an intermittent period of time where he just may lose, right? Trying to tack up too quickly. And then there's another bio ball coming in. Oh, well, tough luck. Only have 1 sentry, so I guess we're going to Guardian Shield Hand. Alright, well, everything's dying now. It's never a good sign. It's not a good place to be as any StarCraft 2 gamer. But yeah, so yeah, not happening. Avoiding that situation, basically, right? Couple of extra barracks as a 3rd base is being constructed by Dream on location. Looking to ramp up his own economy game. 3 oracles. Want to be a bit bothersome here, that newly established base. Should be able to do quite a bit here. Actually, the entire army of Dream now starting to head back in order to deal with this. Actually, no, never mind. Now going the other way again. Very indecisive here, unfortunately. I suppose you're never quite sure how much really is coming at you. Right, you see that army coming in, so... Or at least that there's something happening there. 3 adepts might be joined by 6 more adepts a little bit later on. Down the line, you never know, you never know. Yeah, so straight up, this army of Dream would be able to beat the army of ZEST, but... I mean, with the force fields there, with the shield batteries there as well, it's very difficult to actually push yourself in there to get the target fire. In particular, with those blink stalkers as well, of course, still being an option to get some extra micro potential there from ZEST. So, backs off, decides to find another way into the Protoss base. The base and face. May decide to go for some dropping into the main base. I wouldn't be opposed to it, right? Seems like there's a fairly open area there right now. Stalkers on the top side with this scan. He is able to see those. Notice that there's no observer now either. And there we go. I think ZEST already realizing as well. He was already thinking about this potentially happening as he was sending his Stalkers over here earlier on. So, doesn't really come as a surprise. Even, oh wow, that's pretty cool. Setting up his Stalkers on the back door flank here. Imagine that working out. That would have been crazy. right? If like Dream went into his medavacs, started dropping here, Zest forced it out, and then suddenly had those Stalkers behind that medevac army that is still carrying all those units, that would have been massive. That would have been absolutely massive, but not quite being able to make that play happen here. Dream being careful and not allowing for that opportunity to arise. Now starting to spread out his forces. A good way to try and combat the Protoss army that's a bit more, you know, likely to be wanting to have everything together. Not a great engagement there from Dream. Struggling a little bit. On the bottom side it was going a little bit better, but there are now different army units already available. So yeah, Dream kind of headbutting a brick wall, it feels like, at the moment. To be fair, Zest not really getting that much achieved across the map either, so... Just gonna see both these players eventually getting to 200 supply. And then we'll most likely, I assume, are gonna see some trades happen. Big fight here actually occurring as well. The Vikings not quite high in number enough. I thought Zest was just gonna kind of back off, but he's allowing the rest of his army here to come in a little bit later. And it seems to be working out rather nicely. The army supply is initially in favor for Dream, now going quite quickly into favor for Zest. As Zest is chasing down the final portions, the small cluster of units that still remains. Medevacs being targeted down first, of course. Realizing that they are the escape route. There you have it. Zest once again delivering quite a intensive blow onto Dream. And Dream with the initial 2-0 here. Looking a bit shaken. Looking down the barrel of a third loss right now. I'm not sure if that's a place where he wants to be. Still has Packet Industries, of course. Still can pick that map. I hear it's very good for Terran. Alright, Zest maybe looking to finish this off right now. He's gonna lose his, one of his 2 observers here though. So has to be careful of the Widow Mines. Non-shockwaves about to finish up, as well as the SCVs now being pulled. Does have a good amount of SCVs. He's allowed to lose a couple of them here, if that means he's gonna at least hold on and survive. It'll be okay overall. Oh, 1 Stalker shutting down all the mining at the gold base right now. Brilliant move there by Zest, pinning down the army, and then just 1 Stalker. That's enough. That's enough for that gold base. Zest, you know what, he's prepared. He's prepared for a single Marauder or Marine coming behind that gold base. He's got some probes right there as bodyguards protect him. And as he is doing that, he's also running into the 3rd base, the 2nd natural base, and, well, yeah. I think we saw that coming for a while there. Zest just taking great trade after great trade. In the top right side, Dragon, a Phoenix, or a gamer, we're not quite sure, but we know his name is Zest. And in the bottom left side, is he good? Is he a game, or is he a gamer? He is a red Terran player, and he is Dream. Car sound effects, of course, wrapping up that command center, ready to go. Makes a lot of exhaust fumes, but to be fair, there's not a lot of trees left on this planet anyway. Look at the gas emission of this thing. Jeez Louise. That can't be right. Just steaming. It's literally steaming. Lights. Oh, this is interesting. Look at those lights right there. So if we do... Let's see this. Oh. Ooh, disco lights. Interesting. Never knew that. Is this something everybody already knew? Doesn't work sideways, just works up and down. Alright, well, anyway. The things you find out. The things you figure out. Factory will be coming up here as well. Safety bunker trying to be made at the front. ZEST already here, of course, with that adept now. Putting on some pressure onto the natural base. Probably want to have our eye on that adept for a little bit longer. Alright, does get away. Stalker will be coming in as well, but that bunker, come on, finish up, and there we go. Safety been achieved. The adept so low on HP as well. Very difficult for ZEST now to wiggle his way behind these minerals away from the bunker as well. May still attempt it, of course. That Shade and the Stalker are still available, of course. But oops, not to do it. Oops, not to do it. Oops. OPTs. One pony trick. No, if you change the letters, the P and the T from one trick pony, it's a different, quite a different word. Blink for ZEST. Man. Going on a journey with thoughts today, ain't I? Weird places. Couple of extra barracks here. The adept does manage to get a full scout off the main base of Dream here. Not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. And the adept, it's Shade too. Must be dead. Alright. It's dead. What was the saying? Alright, third base here for Mr. ZEST, regular time, as the Widowmine drop is going to attempt a big drop into the natural, and ooh, still connects rather nicely. 6 probes right there. ZEST's got to be careful here a little bit. Alright, only loses one more. The Widowmine, clever play right there from Dream. Had me a little bit worried there, but still, wow, 6-7 kills in total. Not really something that should have happened there. To be fair, that's just a microsecond too late with those probes, moving them away. It felt like he could have done it sooner as well, but he kind of was just waiting to move the probes for the bare minimum loss of mining time there. Which is still important. Which is still important to do. But, yeah. Very important, Rick. Twilight Council finished up now, grabbing himself that charge upgrade once again together with the Templar Archives. We know where this is leading towards. We know that ZEST has been quite deadly wielding this type of army composition so far. Couple of High Templars, kind of just lurking around. There's 5 gateways once again finishing up here. And ZEST starting to make some spotting pylons right now as well in order to steer clear of any kind of drop shenaniganery. That's how you say it, guys. Any Koreans watching to learn English? Say it with me now. 1, 2, 3. Shenaniganery. There you go. Shenaniganery. Right, wow, yeah, I need to get more sleep, I think, sometimes. Alright, so there are stocks in the middle of the map, kind of preventing this army to run forwards as quickly as they want. Oh my dear goodness! Those storms absolutely devastating whatever Dream had in mind to do right then and there. Oof, even the feedback on that Raven. Absolutely wonderful play there brought by Mr. ZEST. Finding himself quite the luxurious trade right there. Look at that value he just achieved. He's on 625 minerals lost. His opponent, 2,027 minerals lost, right? Absolutely massive. Those might be one of the biggest storms that I've ever seen land. Sometimes people make the comment like, how can a storm not be good? Well, I would like to make the comments, man, they could be a lot better. But they cannot be better than what ZEST is producing right here, right now. This is the absolute best that he could have achieved with that set of units. Let's see now with the overwhelming force of Zealots, Stalkers, Archons coming all in. With most of the army of Dream already done and dusted. GG is cold. Here we go. Here we go. Scoreboards updated and well. In the bottom right side we have a pink Protoss player. So used to saying the pink Polish Protoss, but that would be very wrong here. He's a Korean after all. He is the Dragon Phoenix gamer man himself. It is ZEST. And spawning in the natural of ZEST right here, there is a red Terran player. He is fighting for the Dragon Phoenix gamers. He is Dream. There you go. Wonderful. Alright, so you know what? Not the most natural spawning location here for Dream, but he's going to try to make the best of it. Also, somehow started off with just one SCV, building a barracks right now. Or another one. Yeah, it is just the one barracks. Don't worry about it, guys. It is. It's not a complete all-in, right? It's just a little bit of aggression here coming through. Nothing to worry about too much. ZEST, though, it looks like he's not too worried about too much anyway, right? He did grab the Cybercore before the Nexus, so that is already kind of safe. A safe play in his book. And now grabbing that Nexus afterwards, yeah, should be able to defend against a Reaper. But the Reaper is going to be able to come in here a little bit quicker than you might expect. ZEST. So that is potentially still going to be a little bit of a nuisance, of course. He should be able to get 2 probes here with some proper micro. Although ZEST is making it very difficult. There we are. There's one, and there is the second one. Alright, so far so good. Stalker is out now. We may be able to see a 3rd probe picked off if he does want to. He's gonna try to evacuate, make use of that bunker instead. There's already a shield battery being constructed as well, though, so a little bit awkward there, perhaps, for Dream. Trying to now target down that shield battery and the Stalker. Not great. Oh, clean repair on that bunker. Actually, he's getting rid of the shield battery here. He managed to shut it down. Now the 2 Stalkers here are, well, they are having difficulties overall. There's a probe right there. That's going to go down. It's another shield battery trying to be constructed, but that's going to take a while. Now the Reapers jumping out of their little box, coming after, smelling blood in the water, taking out a Stalker too. It's a very interesting opening here for Dream, and I'm not quite sure if it worked out just yet. Let's take a look. Alright, yeah, he actually did get 3 probes, a shield battery, and that Stalker as well. That seems very well worth it overall. Just hoping that he's not gonna run into too much difficulties now. Even getting another Stalker with a Widow Mine right here in the middle. That was something I was afraid of. I was about to mention. I hope he's not just gonna run into trouble with a couple of Stalkers running across the map here and being microed against not that much in the natural or main base of Dream. But Dream already coming in with somewhat of a solution, having that Widowmine just in the middle of the map, immediately killing one of the Stalkers and shutting down that potential pretty much. Dream here with a single Hellion. I suppose it's more so as scouting units rather than the aggressive Hellion plays that we've seen before. The base of ZEST with a blink coming up as well. See, no stim pack or combat shield on the way just quite yet. We'll need to wait for those tech labs to be acquired by the barracks, of course. There we go. Ooh, Widowmine! Doesn't quite burrow there. Doesn't quite get into the ground. Wouldn't it? Alright. I think it would be an interesting game design. What if, right? Just a crazy what if scenario. Nothing that's actually gonna happen, so don't worry about it, guys. But what if, right? Because Widowmines, they can only shoot from the ground. Now, for some reason, I suddenly was wondering, like, why can it only shoot from the ground? Is it going to do self-damage if it shoots it when it's not like in a stable position and the entire framework of the mine is intact? So, wouldn't it be cool if the Widowmine shot when it's not burrowed, it kills itself? Like a Baneling? That'd be interesting. Huh. Kind of blows up. Alright, well, random unit design thought of today. Out of the way. Here we go again. I mean, ZEST, we can set a clock to it right now. That this build right here, it's truly all he's doing at the moment. He knows it works, and he's gonna stick to it. No more DTs, no more weird stuff there at all. No proxies whatsoever, just straight up. Grab ourselves a bunch of Zealots and Storm. Maybe some Phoenix or Blink Stalkers, of course, to get yourself there in a safe manner. But then afterwards, there's the Storm, there's the charge. Let's start cooking up some Marine bodies. Marine burgers. Alright, well, this is a big army supply for Dream, of course. The Stalkers ambitiously trying to cut down the overall force numbers here, but it's a rough place to be. Siege tanks need to get themselves a little bit further forwards to actually start helping out the Marines as they're pushing into the mineral line. Needs to have that extra bit of cover, I would say. Maybe over here would be enough to really shut down any type of movement. Let's see where those siege tanks are going to be able to shoot from right now. More medevac showing up. Nice dodge on the Storm. Losing one Marine so far. No mining in this base, by the way. Ooh, this is rough. Okay, that is a big stim going forwards. The siege tanks are shooting away the Stalkers. But, well, actually, yeah, that Bioforce just too strong with the 4 medevacs giving full support. The probes are being pulled. A desperate attempt to give those Stalkers a moment of breathing room where they can actually just keep shooting. There they go, the army of Dream now finally being pushed backwards, but I think damage definitely has been sustained here. ZEST. Let's look at the units lost tab. Ooh, that is a good amount of training that has been done there by Dream. Did manage to find that opportunity where the Zealot army just couldn't have grown that much just yet. Maybe one extra warp in was available from all of these gateways, but he's already here again. I was not expecting this to be happening so soon already. Targeting down and High Templar very nicely. A good connection from that, well, that Zealot right there, forcing some friendly fire from the Widowmine. Dream not counterplaying against that, unfortunately, here. Nice spread from a couple of zealots, setting off every single witch widow mine, and now starting to push on forwards. Gotta be a little bit careful. Don't want to overstay your welcome, nor do you want to over push out on the map here, ZEST. Okay. Thank you, by the way. That is for the fan club. Becoming a fan club member. Mr. Korean TV. Thank you. Oh, 2 liberators here. It's 1 liberator now. Nicely shot down there by ZEST. Couple of Stalkers coming in, of course. Pushing on forwards, trying to avoid this storm so far. Doing a really good job spreading out. It's a very marauder-heavy composition right now. So these zealots, they should be able to do rather well. There are still liberators and widow mines, though. And that was a bit too much for the zealot army, in fact. The marauders all are in the orange and Hefty in the red. Will that be enough now for ZEST to start targeting them down and really diminish the firepower that is available here for Dream? I don't think so. Allowing these marauders to heal up, that could be a crucial mistake. It's going to be very rough for these Stalkers now to try and deal with half HP marauders. They are just half HP. Yeah, the medevacs did run out of energy right now. Here we go, continuing onwards. A couple of zealots setting off most of the widow mines. The liberators, well, one of them getting shot down. The other one still hanging out in the air, and yeah, there it is, the GG being called. So far, though, I mean, this has been a very entertaining series. We've seen Dream take the early lead. Suddenly ZEST making a massive swing in return, right? 4 victories. And then suddenly all of that momentum being stopped again here by Dream. Finding himself a victory afterwards, and it's very nice because I do expect that if you kind of go over these replays, right? By the way, you can buy the replays on the matcherino.com website for this tournament, which is linked just above the chat. Yeah, if you go over these replays, I do suspect we're gonna see a lot of like very similar things, right? As well, we know that we did. But minute differences in like army compositions, the build orders, trying to take advantage of tiny little things they've noticed about their opponent's overall play. Coming in with those siege tanks a little bit earlier, going more heavy into marines or marauders. ZEST going more quickly into the zealots with the storm upgrade, or going first into the phoenix and such, right? Responding to what they are playing against, and it took Dream a little bit to get that same adjustment here, I believe. Talking about adjustment, looked like he is going back into that same play style he did in game number 1 and 2. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, I suppose. Gotta watch out for those Hellions. Don't want them to get too low here. They want to start pulling back that one that's low HP already. Can't quite get into the main base. He is doing a lot against these Stalkers, though. Quite a couple of them do get burned down. Actually, just one of them. But also an adept, so, I mean, that counts for something. Into the medevac. And off to the promised land of the Protoss space. Where's the Stalkers? ZEST? Where's the Stalkers? ZEST? Oh boy, this is... okay, well, he's just going to continue mining, which, funnily enough, might be the best way to kind of stop the damage from just raking in even quicker. Oh, but it's still very, very gruesome right now. 16 workers just like that. More stuff happening over here. What's that? More Hellions you ordered? Alright, well, we'll deliver some more Hellions right here. Never complain to Dream that you're feeling a little bit cold, because, well, he's gonna set you on fire with a bunch of fire trucks. Look at that worker count right now. 43 versus 22. And that's in favor for the Terran player. Just needs to make sure that he doesn't die due to Blink Stalkers, which he's doing a pretty good job of so far. Siege tanks blockading a lot of access area for those Stalkers. Still very difficult though for him to have his entire base covered as they are now onto the mineral line. Second siege tank comes in. Oh, they both got a siege up here. Well, one of them is. Alright, the other one will stay in its, well, kind of single fire mode. Stay a bit more mobile. 11 workers go down. That's a lot later down the line, I swear. You know, ZEST lost his 23 workers. Oh, I still have difficulty believing it. 23 workers right there. Oof. Still going for it as well. You gotta commend him for it. The tenacity of ZEST right here. Let's force out a cancel on that third base as well. Not sure if he's going to be able to do it again though. I think we're going to go into game number 9 here. I'm feeling it, guys, unless if there's really a massive blunder here for Dream, or if ZEST just finds a absolute miraculous play. One of those brilliant, just immediately check and mate kind of scenarios. Can be very difficult to find in a pro game of StarCraft 2. Yeah, DTs, they could be a good way, right? DT could be a good way to try and get that damage done across the map as well. Could be a good way to catch your opponent's army off guard also. I mean, he doesn't have ravens, right? As long as he hopefully uses up a couple of scans. Might be able to do something with that, but hush. That would be a big gamble. Interesting. Coming in with that War Prism. Maybe just trying to force a response here as the War Prism is empty. Maybe just wants his opponent to know, hey, look, I do have a War Prism, you know. If you try to move out, even if you try to move out, I will come in here. Please don't move out, sir. Please don't come at me with all you've got. War Prism. Oh, War Prism immediately thwarted here. 4 Marines and a missile turret. Seemingly enough already. That is a very... Oh, no, 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 no. Wow. That would have been amazing. That would have been amazing if he got that. Okay, doesn't quite get it. He's got the storm. He just needs to find the connections right here. Gonna sacrifice these couple of buildings here. Not too big of a deal. That storm, though, that's a big deal. That's a lot of Marines going down rather quickly. Still have more of those storms remaining, of course. The Archon trying to be warped in there. It's not going to be able to really get too much done. Stalkers advancing to a defensive spot here, but those siege tanks make it quite difficult for them to actually get a fight going against those medevacs right now. Ooh, those High Templar, please move them back a little bit. If Dream had vision here, that would have been a lot of dead Templar. That's the storm. Again, the storm, I mean, it's doing something, right? But it's to such a small portion of the overall force here. The rest is just too well spread out. There we go. Finally, half of the force there of the Terran does get storms. Is that going to be enough? It might be, actually. The main base is starting to clear out. Might have an opportunity to take out only one of the siege tanks there, unfortunately, for ZEST. If he had gotten both, that would have cleared up so much extra space for him. Right now, though, not quite happening, of course. There we are. There's the second siege tank going down as well. Now, only over here in this main base can be shot at, so a lot harder to have medevacs running in and out of that base. still, this is a army that is reluctant to give up. With or without the siege tanks, it's quite hefty, filled with marauders that generally do pretty darn well against those Stalker units, of course. More and more Widowmines coming into the fray as well. A blink forward here could be the end of ZEST if he ever tries to do such a thing. Immortals dropping on the back line. They both do get picked off though. The War Prism not quick enough with his return journey. Widowmine now targeting down the War Prism as well. Maybe trying to do some friendly fire there, but there is no returning into a favorable position here for ZEST. GG is called. Dream ties it up. He does it again, guys. Alright, game number 9. Game number 9. In the bottom right side, a pink Protoss player fighting for the dragon, the phoenix, and all the gamers around the world. He is ZEST. His opponent, top left side, that red Terran player fighting for a dream. He is the good gamers man himself. Dream. No way I wanted to go with that dream comment. He's fighting for a dream. I thought that would be cool, and then I realized, wait a moment, that's his name. That's why I said it, probably. He's fighting for himself. Well, you know. Guess everyone is. Everyone is. Alright. We're gonna get that cyber core before the Nexus again, and looks like we will. Looks like we shall. Oh, single engineering bay block from Dream here, by the way, right? No proxy 2 Rex either. Did do a proxy 1 Rex, but no proxy 2 Rexes or anything like that. He is a player that just wants to get a relatively fair game going, right? He does do proxy starports though, to be fair. That is something he's been doing an awful lot. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of the way Terran is played, right? It's not an all-in by any stretch of the imagination. It's just harassment is kind of the distinction I'm trying to make there. Dream just trying to play straight up with a bit of, you know, damage in that early game from a fair source. It's not something new. It's not something uncommon. It happens. And Protoss players should be able to deal with it. Will they want to, you know, win a lot of games against Terran players? If they want to win, then you gotta figure out how to win. Triple Rex play once more from our red Terran here. Stargates coming up as well. So that will delay the storm here a little bit in comparison to some of these other games, right? Might be an opportunity for the Bio Ball to be coming up. But to be fair, we're seeing moments. It's already going for Concussive Shell first here. Which makes me suspect that he's not anticipating a Stargate opening overall. He's gonna grab another tech lab here, most likely. So this is the plan. 2 Marauders and a Reaper will be heading across the map right now. I'm not sure if they're gonna get much done. The 3 Adepts on their own. Maybe with some probes as well. Alright, well, here we go. This is the first start. That's a good one for well, I'm not even sure. I guess, yeah, that's just ZEST winning that fight, but losing his Oracle energy? Yeah. Yeah, so overall, Dream making a bit of an investment into those army units. Does stop that Oracle from coming in full force and unnoticed. But he does take a hit in the road overall by losing those units, right? But now he's not taking a hit in the road because he, well, the Oracle is out of energy. Doesn't have a real puff of green smoke to give anymore. Is that what it is? Is that what they do? I wanted to compare it to breath, but then I realized it's like a green laser beam. And then I called it smoke instead. It's weird. Alright, well, anyway. Oh, man. It's getting warm outside, isn't it? It's getting rather warm overall again. Summer's definitely starting to kick in. Maybe dehydration or something like that. When did we get 3 oracles? Revelation, that's what it's called. What's the clairvoyance? Was the clairvoyance the previous name of the ability? Wasn't that what it was previously called? Alright, well, enough jumping back and forth between random subjects. Let's see what these guys are gonna be kind of facing off against with. Blink +1, so ZEST is heading down the same track here. Most likely we'll see that Templar Archives and Charge heading up on the production tab momentarily. Although, hold that thought actually, we are seeing the robotics facility instead coming into play. Interesting. Well, it will be still a very heavy Marauder focused army, so if we are gonna see the Robo with the Colossi and Stalkers for the Blink, it might be a good thing here for the army composition that Dream went for. Maybe, I don't think he saw this, the Marines there. Oh, a little flanking group of units here being set up, trying to find out those oracles. Oracles already on a path homewards, though. Alright. Dream coming up here. Looking for the push. There's a lot of sentries with energy, though. And that might make this rather difficult. Dream trying to find the best angle, the best way to approach. It might be through Medivacs, but I think we have... Yeah, there's already Stalkers here as well. Dream grabbing whatever he can from the low ground, infrastructure-wise. Knowing that he won't be able to push up anywhere spectacular at this moment in time. Bit surprised that he's allowing those Stalkers to shoot kind of freely towards his units for a while there. Oh, he's still at it actually. He's still trying to make these trades happen. Alright, well, I guess we're just gonna see this unfold. ZEST carefully picking away at a Widow Mine there from the other angle as well. Does manage to pick it off. Revelation still keeping tabs on this entire army here. Except for the newly arrived reinforcements, of course. Looks like ZEST saw that Widow Mine going in. Will be going for it immediately. It's nice that those oracles now have a free rotation, of course, as well. So yeah, great teamwork here from the sentries as well as the oracles. Now, having the Colossi here as well will provide enough firepower to force this army composition of Dream backwards, right? It's no longer going to be able to compete with this Protoss army that is now quite a bit technologically more advanced. Still a single Widow Mine there, just laying about, enjoying the sun. Hopefully Hopefully he has some Wi-Fi, being able to connect to the internet. Do a little bit of everything all of the time. Ooh. ZEST getting a bit uppity here. He only has the 2 Colossi, really, and an Archon here as well. Another Colossi coming in from the back, but a big flank from Dream. Will that concave be enough here to bring him victory, though? I'm not convinced. There's a big whopping of Zealots. Zealots taking a while to engage as well, but the status traps forcing a lot of those Terran units to, well, not participate, really, in this fight. I'm not sure if they would have turned it around. It looks rather convincing here in the end for ZEST. Army supply up at 77, now at 85. Yeah, ZEST just taking it right then and there.